So when Christians now complain that jihadi groups that are Muslim in outlook, bandits or killer herdsmen that are Muslim in outlook are killing them, and the numbers are rising to genocidal proportion, a group like Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs should be more concerned about the fact that people within their demography have gone this level of rogue to the point that Nigeria is battling insecurity that emanates from your own demography. Boko Haram members are Muslims. Bandits are Muslims. That should be a concern to the Sultan of Sokoto, who should be at this point be at the forefront of carrying out the necessary reforms that will roll back radicalization and indoctrination that has led to jihadism in Nigeria. But displaying the ostrich, I am so disappointed in him as a Muslim. I'm so disappointed. And I want to call on the government. Enough of this politics. President Tinubu should sit up and stop playing politics with the lives of Nigerians.
Okay.
By this morning, I should have expected that they should have called in the officials of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs for questioning by security agencies. And that should include the Sultan himself. The federal government cannot be making consolatory statements towards the international community. And they are here making provocative statements, asking Trump to retract his statement. How do you reconcile that? They need to be reined in. They need to be cautioned. And I think the Sultan should be giving stern warning never to make such a statement again on national security. If he doesn't have anything to say, let him keep his mouth shut through his Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. This nonsense must not continue.
Right,
it must stop. Right. Enough is enough.
All right, Dr.
Because this is very provocative. How do you explain that such a statement can come out at such a time? Look, I've said it severally. When a Boko Haram Muslim group kills 1 million Muslims, it does not generate the same concern as when it kills 1 Christian. Because genocide has to do with targeted killings on the basis of creed, race, ethnicity, and all other factors that are peculiar to the humanity of the victim.
All right, Dr.
And so genocide in this instance can be raised when the numbers are rising, especially when a group has come under attack by a group that is of different ethnicity and religion from them.
All right,
so it's unfortunate.
All right, so the concept.
I do not know why we have a group called Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria. I don't know why that group exists. That group should be disbanded. And the statements that are part of that group has been irrational, provocative, as if somebody wants to plunge Nigeria into a sectarian warfare. A group that calls itself Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria. You know, when people make such statements, they will turn around and blame others for Islamophobia. These are the same groups stoking Islamophobia. When Muslims like us are trying to reflect the beauty of Islam, the peace that Islam is, the humanity that is at the core of Islam, through our words, our writings, and our conduct, groups like this will come out and make no sense of our efforts. They will come out gun blazing, attacking people of other faiths, making reckless statements. I mean, such a group in the first place should have nothing like National Council for Sharia in Nigeria, because I believe it's a government-backed group. Somebody is entering salaries from the collective patrimony of Nigeria under that aegis, and all they do is to issue such provocative statements. So I'm starting my comment today on this matter on the fact that that group should be scrapped. They should scrap that group. Then secondly, again, like I said of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, this group, this particular, the woman is from this group, should have been arrested by DSS by now. President Tinubu, wake up before this will cause anarchy and chaos in this country. Wake up. I think that statement from the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs is not only irresponsible, it is callous, it is insensitive, lacking in empathy and common sense of logical reasoning. And it's so unfortunate that the apex body of the Muslim community in Nigeria, headed by the Sultan of Sokoto, who is supposed to be the Sediki Muslimi, or the leader of Muslims in Nigeria and even in Niger, can issue such a statement at this time, at a time that we are supposed to be having a national reflection, particularly amongst the Muslim community, as to how come it is our demography, our own divide, our own side of the divide, that has produced the twin problem that Nigeria is battling hard to contain, which is Boko Haram on one hand and banditry on the other hand. This is not the time to be hypocritical, to be insincere. This is not the time to play the ostrich. If anything at all is going to threaten the national unity of Nigeria, it is not Trump's statement. It is this very statement that has been issued by the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. It's mark of complicity on their part. And if I must say, on the part of those of us that are Muslims, when you issue a statement that is so insensitive to the plight of our Christian brethren, it is unfortunate. I did not imagine that this can come out of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. I've heard Shegumi and some other people making statements. It wasn't something I was bothered about, because I felt that they don't represent the organized, the collective body that represents Muslims in Nigeria. But when this statement came out of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, I was not only embarrassed as a Muslim, I was ashamed of myself. I felt that we have taken a logic, we have taken echo chamber rhetorics to the height of it, to the highest level of ridicule. And this is nothing but an image battering statement for the Muslim community in Nigeria. Trump, again, did not say he was coming to fight Muslims on behalf of Christians. He said he was coming to fight terrorists that are killing Christians. Why is the Muslim community in Nigeria up in arms against such a proposition? Are we the ones killing Christians? Are we supporting the terrorists to kill Christians? Can Muslims actually endure crusader Christian groups rising up to kill Muslims in targeted manner? Is it possible for Muslims to sit down and accept it? Kofi, let me give you a good example. In this same country, recently, 16 northern Muslim hunters were hunted down in Urumi because their identity was mistaken to be bandits, right? The entire Muslim North was up in arms against the Edo State government and its people. It took Okpebolo, the governor of Edo, to go and practically kneel down to appease both the family, the state government, and other critical stakeholders in the North for the killing of 16 people. The North took a special exception to it. I didn't hear the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs making this statement to say, no, it's part of the ongoing crisis in the country that consumed these 16 people. No. It was a special case. It was a specially mentioned case because those who killed them are of different demography. They are Southerners and they are Christians. I also remember vividly when the woman Fatima was killed in Anambra by IPOB elements along with her 4 children. The Anambra State government had to go the extra mile to appease both the family, the other community in Anambra State, and the entire country by showing the seriousness with which the government takes that killing, even when IPOB elements were killing hundreds, if not thousands, of Igbo people in Anambra State. You recall, Kofi, a year or 2 ago, there was an attack on a northern dominated market in Ibadan, if you recall. When that attack happened in Ibadan, and most of the casualties were northerners, a delegation of northerners came to Oyo State to ask questions why northern governors of predominantly Muslim states, whose people were targeted, came to Ibadan to ask questions. The governors of the southwest, led by then Akeredolu late now, had to take the initiative to rein in their people, made arrests just to pacify the North. It happened in this country.
There is a deep-seated battle for supremacy in every Christian, in every Muslim, against the other in Nigeria today. Deep-seated. And unless religion is banned in public spaces, this deep-seated battle for supremacy will be the end of Nigeria. It will be the continued suffering, continued poverty, continued unemployment, continued insecurity in Nigeria. The time has come for us to ban religion in public spaces. Look, believe it or not, a Pastor Adeboye, a Bishop Kuka, they can lie all they want to themselves and to Nigerians. They can lie. They can speak all the rhetorics. But deep in the heart of a Kuka, of an Adeboye, of an Oyedepo, of a Kumuyi, of an think of any big man of God, pastor, bishop that you know, deep in their hearts, they desire strongly to convert every Muslim into Christianity. They desire strongly maximum domination of Christianity in Nigeria. Leave all this church about religious tolerance. As it is with Christians, the Sultan of Sokoto can lie to himself all he wants. Emirs can lie to themselves all they want. Deep in their hearts, there's a deep-seated desire to dominate Christians, to establish the dominance and superiority of Islam. Deep in their hearts, it's there. And it's not just in the hearts of these leaders. It's deep in the hearts of every Christian, every Muslim. So after the pastors and the imams hold their religious tolerance meetings, and they say, oh, let us have religious tolerance. When they go back to their churches and their mosques, what do they tell their people? We become a nation divided against itself. There is a 50-50 split of Christianity and Islam in Nigeria. With this kind of deep-seated desire to subdue the other, desire of Christians to subdue Islam, desire of Muslims to subdue Christianity, this will become a country divided against itself that can never stand. It will always remain on its knees. I am not for or against any religion here now, even though I am a Christian. What I'm talking about is, let everybody practice their religion in the privacy of their homes. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria allows individuals the freedom to practice whatever religion they want. But until we ban the practice of religion in public spaces, poverty, insecurity, hunger, unemployment, disease, poor infrastructure, they will continue to thrive in Nigeria. They will continue to go from bad to worse. Because, do you know the devastating effect the public practice of religion does to us? It's devastating. And I'm sure it is something you have thought about, but because of the sensitive nature of it, you don't want to speak it out. Christians now would rather, in fact, they hold Christianity far above the Constitution of Nigeria. The same thing with Muslims. In fact, it is worse with Muslims. You hear Muslims say things like, oh no, they consider somebody from another Arab country their interest even before the interest of Nigeria. And that is the danger of the public practice of religion in Nigeria. That is the danger. The interest of Nigeria is relegated to the background. And the interest of whether Christianity or Islam is pushed forward. Until religion is banned in public spaces, Nigerians will continue to suffer because there will be no meaningful development. Donald Trump went from tweet or post on Truth Social to live video speech. And all that has done to Nigerians is divide us. So some are saying, yes, let Trump come and invade Nigeria. Not invade. Help to take out the terrorists. At least some Christians are saying that. And some Muslims are coming out to say, no, that is not only Christians that are being killed, as if it is now okay for any Nigerian to be killed. And so something that should have been seen from the perspective of the interest of Nigeria, how do we get a country that is secure and stable? We have been divided amongst ourselves. So instead of saying, let's take out the terrorists, we are saying, no, Muslims are also being killed. So is it now okay for any Nigerian to be killed? We have to ban religion from public spaces. All these, let's commit this program into the hands of God. Let's have a Muslim prayer, then a Christian prayer. It must be stopped. All these government agencies where you now have mosque, you have chaplain or church, where people leave their work to go and be praying, it must be stopped. All this filling of forms, what is your religion? It must be stopped. All these programs that are televised about Christianity, about Islam, they must be stopped. Teaching of CRS, IRS in our schools, primary, secondary, even universities, it must be stopped. Let people practice their religion in the privacy of their homes. Ban religious activities now in public spaces. Rwanda has done that. And in a short space of time, see how Rwanda has turned a new chapter. I know that this call is not something the current National Assembly or the current leadership of the APC and Tinubu will look kindly to. Because, think about it, they weaponized religion to get into power. So, do I want them to reform themselves out of power? In the interest of Nigeria, yes. But will they put the interest of Nigeria ahead of their personal and selfish interests? I don't think so. Do you think so? So ultimately, for there to be a ban on religious activities in public spaces, we need true patriots, people who believe in Nigeria. People who believe in Nigeria. Far above Christianity, far above Islam. Christianity and Islam are a reminder of the chains, the collar chains of slavery.